Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. This afternoon, I would like to discuss with you how to write a speech. In order to begin with, I would like to paraphrase a quote by Stephen King, who said, "When I am asked, how do I write a speech, I invariably reply, one word at a time." What fears or concerns do you have when called on to speak? What situation of speaking makes you nervous? When are you called on at work to give a speech? And what questions do you have about how to write, instead of an essay, a speech? My goal today is to use Toastmasters' objectives, tools, and strategies to help you to be able to both write and deliver an actual speech, which is different from a regular essay or a regular report, and to persuade you that you can do so confidently. So what you will learn at the end of the speech today is how to speak on a given subject coherently and easily, almost immediately. One of Toastmasters' goals is to master the art of speaking, with little time potentially to prepare to do so. Have you ever had a situation where someone cancels for a meeting other than Toastmasters, and all of a sudden you are called on to speak last minute?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
That's a lot of nods. Okay, nods are good. How do we do this? Well, for that, I would like to go through how to reach your speech. And to do that, I will teach the speech, and then it'll be your turn to preach the speech. In order to reach the speech, you need to consider a few things. You have goals, you have to consider your audience, and what I like to call the why me factor. So, your goals might be personal, or they might be external goals. For example, one of my goals is to be very aware of the speed at which I speak and continue to pick it up and keep up the pace, and also to improve the flow of my speaking, which I am doing right now as I am speaking to you. You also may be asked to improve the authority and power with which you speak. To achieve these goals, we need to look at the next steps, which is being aware of the audience. Are you the expert in the room on your given subject? If you are, you need to adjust your language down and tailor to your audience. However, if you are giving an opinion or a presentation to a group of already experts in your same field, then you can speak up at a much higher technical level. So you have to kind of have a feel for what is your audience's level of expertise in that particular area. Now for the why me factor. I was just a simple guy sitting at my desk, and my boss came to me 5 minutes before the meeting and said, "Somebody canceled and I have to present." Why me? Why did they call on you? Is it because you are actually an expert in that area? Or is it because somebody called and canceled last minute and now you have to present? Or is it because you hate public speaking and you have a fear of public speaking, and that's the next goal that you are going to conquer in your life? So you need to let people know, why are you speaking on this particular subject? What is it about you that makes you the perfect person to give this speech? And that's where anecdotes and personal stories can come in and help you to advertise your credibility for that particular area. Whether you're talking about asset protection or whether you're talking about your new pet dog, doesn't matter. Why are you the right person to speak for that particular subject? Now, the next thing for you to do is get your topic. So how are you going to get this topic if you are presenting in Toastmasters? What you are all going to do tonight when you get home is to envision right now you are in your living room. Your eyes are closed and you are turning around slowly. With your arm outstretched, you point somewhere in your room. You open your eyes and there you find the subject for your next speech. I don't care if it's a pair of scissors, if it's a Toastmasters book, a water bottle, a newspaper, the TV, your pet. You can make that a topic for your next speech. Now you have your topic. That was easy. Oh, that was also Staples, sorry. You need to Google, also easy, available to everybody here at least. Google a few strong quotes that resonate with you about your subject. Memorize these quotes if nothing else. You want to open strong and you want to close strong. You don't want to be stumbling through your opening and closing quotes, so commit those to memory so that you can have that audience engagement through the beginning and through the end. Now, who thinks you have to write a speech beginning to end, word for word? Great! You can jot down points. If you're an auditory person, then you can, once you have your initial topic and your quotes and a couple of main points, you can ad-lib it by recording yourself. If you are a visual person, you can get a collection of images, and with those images, you can arrange them into a story that would help you to remember the points of your speech. Or, my favorite, mind mapping. Why is mind mapping my favorite? You've all seen those, the giant square in the middle and the squares coming out and then the smaller squares coming out. Mind mapping is an excellent tool because it can be scaled up or it can be scaled down to any time given for a speech. So if you have a 7-minute speech, you can have 3 sections and elaborate. If you have a 1-hour speech, you can have 10 sections. And then you can start to prove your points, giving stats, stories, quotes, using humor and repetition for every single one of those. And don't forget to bring your audience back in and keep them engaged. Now let's look at some numbers and let's look at how to lose your audience. Even if you're giving a speech about accounting, after about 10 minutes, at the beginning of the speech, you have your audience's full attention. By the end of your speech, you have probably 0% of your audience's attention if you haven't brought them back into the speech. You can have 1 to 2 new pieces of information each minute, and especially if you are an expert talking to people who have less knowledge, then if you have a lot more than that, you will overwhelm your audience and they will begin to forget what you are talking about. And they won't be able to take notes like all of you guys are doing. If you have fewer than that, a minute, you will most likely lose your audience. Now, where does it all end? Isn't it over yet? You need to conclude your speech with a call to action. What do you want your audience to do? By the way, it's to turn around in your living room in circles and pick your next speech topic and write your next speech. And if you haven't told them what you want them to do already, you need to include that in the conclusion of your speech. Just before you have your concluding quote, which you have memorized, and that will allow you to have begun strong and close strong. Now, as for your quotes, if someone significantly more popular than you said it first, that's much better. Bringing it all together. Now it's your turn. I want you to preach your speech. So I want you to practice out loud and all the way through. So how are you going to practice?
Out loud.
And
all the way through.
There we go. Little bit of work. You guys are a little bit rusty, but we'll get there. Practice by recording yourself. Have a practice audience. Get them to identify for you your crutch words. Get them to reiterate to you your point after you give the speech so you can make sure that you have a clear message in your speech and it's understood. Also, visualize yourself giving that speech. Visualization is a powerful technique to ensure that you are successful in your speech. If you are worried and you visualize yourself failing and, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I don't have this memorized, and what if I forget this part? That's not going to help you. Visualize your audience. I could have never visualized an orange room, so I'm back on the 9th floor at the moment. And envision that you will successfully complete your speech, and that will help you to actually do so. You can also practice by video recording yourself or in front of a mirror. I mean, if I was giving my speech like this, then everybody would actually literally be asleep by now, and I would have fallen asleep in front of my mirror and hit the sink. Therefore, if you watch yourself in the mirror, you can be much more engaging and watch how you present. What did you learn from the speech today? Yes, that's a real question.
3 things.
Aha.
Define a goal, identify your audience, and the why you.
Excellent. Okay, that's so good to hear. Yes, success. I want you to reach your speech, and Claudia just explained that to us. Teach your speech, as in how do you write it? We have a simple way to find a topic, which you guys are all going to get tonight. It takes 30 seconds. And you can use mind mapping as a technique to get your points for your next speech, as well as Google. What was the last part? There's reach the speech, teach the speech, and
Preach.
excellent. You guys are awesome. And I want you guys to practice all the way through. If you do not practice beginning to end, you'll have an excellent beginning of your speech, and by the end of it, you won't know what you're talking about. So all the way through, beginning to end. I would like to end with a quote that Ed Tate gave at the 2016 Toastmasters Spring Conference. Don't cancel a speech. You have a message. Bugger that. Let me try that again, please, one more time. Don't cancel a speech. You have a message. You are more ready than you think. You are more ready than you think. It's all about progress, not perfection. You are more prepared and you have more talent than you have ever given yourself credit for. Listen to yourself, trust yourself. Give that speech. Thank you.